All right, so just a quick update on the Peachicks, the disabled Peachicks. My room is still bloody messy, but it's a lot cleaner. I did a big vacuum, but every day it's going to get messy, so I apologize. It's just they run out, and this one loves to fluff his feathers, and yeah, so obviously they're still in my office, and that's because I'm still a little nervous about his immune system. He actually is bigger than one of the other Peachicks that is free ranging at the moment. She's got a little bit of a limp, but that's kind of making me think maybe I should take her in and feed her up and then have her out again. But one of his feet, oh, of course, you little bastards, loud little bastards. All right, we'll bear through. One of his feet are smaller than the others. Can I see the foot? Can I see the foot? Oh, it's hidden. And his the toe's a little crooked on it, but it's not growing as fast, which is, it's not huge. It's not a problem really. Maybe he's got a slightly weaker grip strength, but that's okay in a bird. They can have bye geese. They can have a funny foot. But it does tell me that he didn't get enough nutrition when he was in the egg, and that's continued to have issues going forward. So it makes me a little nervous that maybe his immune system is still going to be weak. And so that's my reasoning to try and keep him in a little longer. But everyone got wormed yesterday, which was an effort. The chickens are easy. You just make some bread a little bit damp, wrap it around their worming pill, chuck it to them, it's fine. The ducks were harder. I had to grind up the pills and mix it with mealworms and seed, and then they would eat it. And so I had to do that by hand for every 17 ducks. And of course, they all look very much the same. So I'm marking them with pen. And then we had to pin down the geese, and they fought the whole time because they won't eat out of our hand. And there's no treat that they're like, ooh, I'll eat that. You can hide the medication in. And then we had to pin down the peacocks because, yeah, the same thing for them. So everyone got wormed on Sunday. And so now the peacocks are free ranging. And so I'm thinking that after there's a good rain, and I can just make sure there's no, potentially old infected poo sitting on the surface, then I may start having this guy go out and socialize. And then slowly over the space of maybe 3 weeks, I'll be integrating him into their flock. So seeing him in the room, seeing little Sabi in the room, not going to be for long, though I would like him to visit me during the day because I absolutely love this little guy. I do. We're having a little groom. Yeah, you can see he messes up my chair a lot. That's his dried poop. He steps in his poop and then he jumps on my chair, so I'm going to have to wipe that down as well. All right, and there's his spilled breakfast, little turd. All right, so the other one, Wabi, that's our more disabled one. Oh, baby. I'm sorry, interrupted you. All right, his good leg is giving him issues, fortunately. He can still hop and he flaps along, but his good leg clicks a lot. And yeah, today's not a good day for him. And he likes to lay down a lot. The good leg hasn't failed on him yet. Yeah, I know. There we go. Put you on the blanket. So I have towels kind of lumped up because he'll sometimes push up onto the lump. Just depends on how he wants to sit. But he is able to get around the house, and though it is obviously painful for him, he does enjoy life. He eats well. He makes his happy little noises when he's burrowed under a warm blanket. So I'm just trying to keep him happy. But, to prepare for you, honestly don't think he's going to live a long life. I think there's a really good chance that this good leg will fail and it'll get to the point where euthanasia is the only option. But I don't mind having a special needs Peachick around and doing what I can to accommodate him if he's going to live a happy life to some degree, because the other option is not living at all. If I could euthanize him and reboot him into a better body, awesome. So I definitely don't want him to live and suffer. But, if it's trouble moving around, but otherwise happy, I'll help him move around and keep him happy. I'll have little places for him. So I have this little one here, and this is where They both, well, this one sleeps during the night, and during the day I often put them in here, and they got the water and food in here as well. He also does like, so I bought this little Kmart carrier. He likes small spaces. And I have blankets here. I have let me just see if I can find it. This is a microwave heat pad. It gets to about 50 degrees Celsius. I'm sorry, I don't know Fahrenheit. I guess it's like 112 Fahrenheit maybe. So I just I microwave it for 5 minutes so it gets full heat. And then I just pop it under a layer of towel. And then he'll sleep on top and then have the blanket over him. And he loves to burrow. Still loves to burrow his head and things. So Sabi's going really well to the point he's going to be outside. Wabi, we'll just see. Hey, honey bunny? So at the moment, I think as well because it's cold, it really hurts his legs more. So I try to keep the heat up in the room. We'll just see how he goes, right? Because he has wings. He can really kind of launch himself. And so before, when his leg was giving him trouble, he would default to the wings and really launch himself. At the moment, he's not doing that, which makes me think that it may, even though the hopping looks worse, he's not accommodating that pain as much, which means obviously maybe it means that he's actually, using the leg because he prefers to use the leg and he has better accuracy on it, and you get this ugly, awkward hopping, but it's better than him fluttering. So, but we'll just see. Like, he's growing, and he's growing at a slower rate. You can see how much smaller he is. He still is growing, and I've been hand feeding him and getting that growth rate up. And so I feed him by hand. I get his... So this is what you'll normally feed a Peachick, but by this size, you generally move them over to different food. So what I'm doing is I'm getting... what you'll feed a Peachick will be like either a game bird starter or you want a meat bird starter, high protein. I mix it with water because these guys are terrible at staying hydrated, and also it's a bit powdery, so they cough. So you don't really, I recommend wetting it down. And I wet it down several times during the day just to get it to this really nice thick, it sticks together, it's clumpy, and they can really just jam it down their throats, which is great. Now, surprisingly, Sabi does not like mealworms. And it's because he's got a slightly crooked beak. So when he does free range, I will have to accommodate him. He doesn't like eating seed or mealworm. He really just likes that baby food. But I am adding now a little bit of grit, not sawdust. They just kick the sawdust in. They're terrible at it. These little things. I'm adding mealworms for Wabi, and that's because they're packed full of protein. And he loves mealworms. So anything to kind of engage him in his food, get him more likely to eat, great, because once he gets comfortable, he often will not hop over to food. So just try and jam him full whenever I can. Make sure that crop is nice and big and distended each night. And and there's some seed mix in here as well. More fucking sawdust. Sorry, shouldn't swear. And then there's a seed mix. I use this Vela free range seed mix, and the whole flock loves it. All of them love it. Whenever I buy it, that's the one they guzzle down. I've tried other brands, but Vela has been the one that seems to be the favorite of the mass flock. The ducks love it, chickens love it, the geese even fight over it. Awesome. Because they all kind of live and eat in the same area, and the peacocks like it as well. So when they're adults, okay, look, chicken feed is not going to be enough for peacocks, but they do love the Vela seeds. So what I'll do is I get the Vela, I'll mix it with, if I can get game bird feed, awesome. If I can't get game bird feed, then what I'm going to do is get a meat bird finisher. Not a layer, not a starter, finisher. And that's for their teenage years before they start laying. High protein on that one as well. And then if you really want to layer up the protein for peacocks, so peacock food, then you want to use some cat food, you want to use some raw meat, you want to use some mealworms. Like, they are omnivores, so mix in stuff in their diet, throw in some spinach, throw in some kale, throw in some, greens, like some, like if you're doing a cauliflower soup, get all that excess, shit that you're not going to eat, and you, like the outside, the husk stuff, awesome, they'll have that as well. There's lots of things you can do to pad out their diet, but you want to make sure that you got the protein as well. So I'm actually maybe even going to start having these guys on some cat food soon. I bought some raw meat cat food stuff, and I'm going to see if I can start integrating it into their little diets as well, just to keep that nutrition up, and maybe even add some hey honey, whoop whoop, nope. Oh, you are not having a good hot day today. You are not having a good hot day. But okay, there we go. You just sit, chill. And remember, my hope is to get a prosthetic for that bad leg. So, you know, I have hopes. I think the cold really is affecting. It's been a cold morning. I'm gonna warm you up, give you a massage. I am. So yeah, I bought some raw meat cat stuff. So I'm gonna give him that and some blood and bone powder. Not the type you use for your fertilizer. You dear, come on. Not the stuff you use for your fertilizer. It's like a blood and bone meal. It's just it's just pure protein, lots of iron, and you can sprinkle that on food as well. And I buy bags of that from my produce stores. There we go, hopping in. There we go, he's happy now. See, that's the bad leg. Come on, let's cover that up. Keep it warm, dear. And there's his little happy face. Hey, darling. Oh, I know. Me one time. There we go. I know. It's been a big day already. Yeah, you just warm up in there, dear. So their diet will, I'm broadening out their diet. Oh, and don't forget, put grit on their food. You can use sand. I'm using oyster shell grit because I think probably need that calcium. That would have been something that would have been missing from the nutrition that they required. And then just love and patience. Just keep an eye on them. And we can go over to you so we can talk about if you've got your chicks and you want to make sure that they're looking good. One, make sure you can feel the crop here. And so you want to make sure that's nice and full each night. Just feel like a little golf ball sticking out of their head. It's funny, sometimes their crop grows first before their body. It's not always just an even size on their body. There's this period of time where it's almost like their crop grows before their body does. And you're like, oh my God, they've got a tumor. They're fine. They're just full. Make sure the crop goes down in the mornings. That's a good thing to look out for. Another thing to look for is beak health. So you don't want to see, you want a nice firm beak. You want everything straight. So it looks good on this side. And can you move your head? Move your head to the other side. Not good on that side. There's a little bit of a gap there. But beak health, you don't want anything looking too flaky or cracked. And that's keratin. The beak's keratin, just like your nails. So a good way of telling their health is from their beaks. And then their poops. Just keep an eye on their poops. And what you want to see as well is healthy feather development. So if I go over to my little feather collection, did you poop on my ground? Totally pooped, little brat. Those cables were neat before, but that one just jumped in and pulled the cables out. All right, okay, this is a good one. This is peacock feather. So what you kind of want to see is that this stem's nice and straight. You see how it's uniform? There's a nice little seam going down it. Everything's kind of growing well. So what will happen as they develop is there's a blood vessel going up this feather. So the shaft's there first, and the feather will poke out the top. And then there's blood vessels here as it continues to supply more feather coming up. And so you'll see it will look red. If you see a gap, the feather's been damaged somehow. That's okay if it's just one, but if you're seeing it on 2 or 3 and it's different spots, then that's a sign that they're having some issues developing. So that's something to look for in your birds. I don't think I've got any good examples of that. These are all nice, healthy feathers. Oh, actually, and this just can help you see. You can see there's a structure inside, internal. Yeah, you can see how my finger's got scratched up. Hey, baby. How you doing? Why are you making this harder? So there's an internal structure inside this feather that he's stealing. You can actually see that's where your blood vessel stuff used to be inside. So, yeah. And what you'll end up seeing is there'll be this suddenly transparent bit. And when it's a live feather, you shouldn't have a transparent bit. And you'll see a transparent bit and there'll be dark inside it, like coagulated blood, or a gap, be red and this white gap in the middle. Not good. That's when you really have a look at their nutrition. That's when you want to worm them, like worm every 8 to 12 weeks. If you get advice not to worm your Peachicks, tell that person to pound sand, because I had some die on me because I followed someone's advice on that. Worm them. I reckon once they get to 2 or 3 weeks worth of age, worm them. You can use a lighter wormer like worm out, where you scale it to their size. Just don't run the risk. I think at least at the latest, wait to 4 weeks, worm them, and then worm every 8 to 12 weeks. And if you've forgotten, and you start seeing things like odd feathers and scaly beaks and no weight gain, anything that looks odd, for the safest thing, worm them, because parasites affect the nutrition. Check for mites. So you want to check around their butt. And what you want to do is separate the feathers and then look to see, does it look all good in there? You see stuff caked, little white, crusty stuff? That's usually mites. So you can just get a mite spray it on this parrot mite spray. So that's a bit of an update and some advice about looking after peacocks. And you can see that foot. See that? When he was born, I could have maybe taped it and straightened it out, but all his legs were having issues. He just really was so weak. And then once he was up and at him, I just didn't want to, I just felt like he wasn't strong enough to start intruding. And then by the time that he was looking good and strong, where I could have supported me doing that, like the bones were already in place. And I just thought, okay, look, like that was the thing I was running. I was like, okay, his feet are going to be a little crooked, but he really looked quite sick the first few days he was born. And that's when you put the stuff on. And by the time he was good looking, it was too late. So, because it can stop them from being able to get to food. It can stop them from getting into water. I thought it was higher risk that he would pass away if I stepped in and started putting shit on his feet that made it hard for him to move. But he does look very good, except that one's crooked, and that one's crooked. When he walks on hard surfaces, you can hear a dunk, and it's obviously painful for him. So, but that's it. Other than that, and the slightly crooked beak, for the one that really looked like he wouldn't survive, he really didn't. I didn't expect him to live at all. That's why I was so dedicated to paying for this one's surgery, because I looked at him and I'm like, you're not going to live. But he is very happy and healthy. He is. And if you ever work with me, I'm sorry for him interrupting our meetings and angrily dancing in the background. Yes. He's a naughty little thing. Oh, a little blob. He's so puffy here. I love how puffy he is. I was a cat person, and then I got these weird little dinosaurs, and I love them. No, I know. He loves eating fingers. You do. Hey? Mm-hmm. He still does the baby noises with me. It's adorable. Probably is time to get you out socializing, isn't it? All right. So you'll hear him chirping, and he likes to have tantrums. So, oh, sorry, my nose is running. He doesn't like me standing behind him, and I think that's often have to pick him up if he's in trouble. He's often very sensitive about anyone putting a hand near his leg. He did have a surgery that failed, and it caused him a lot of pain for a while. So he will kind of make these little squeaky tantrums when I stand behind him. There we go. There we are. But he has a very good appetite. And once he's comfy, he is quite happy. Hey, Lobby. Hey, dear. And if you looked at the other videos, you'll notice that his head's going dark. So those adult feathers are coming in. The gap in growth between these two is closing. So the feeding him by hand, nagging to eat multiple times a day is doing great. Now, how do I stay on top of the fact that they poop all the bloody time? Not well. I would recommend, so what I've been doing is I bought about 15 towels from Kmart, about $2.50 each. I have my yoga mat under here so that when there's water spills, because it's usually at the front here, it's not going to be affecting the carpet. I run a load of laundry, really of the, so this is clean as well. So I had this in a mound. He likes to move to different parts of the room. So I mound them up for him to sit on. So I have basically a washing basket full of towels. I have 2 on here at least. Hey dear. I have 2 towels on here at least per day. So that this one doesn't make so much of a mess, but also there's some softness for his little foot. And there's at least 2 towels in there, thick ones. One for the heat pad at the bottom, and then one for him to tuck under at nighttime. And then there's a 3rd towel that I put over the top, and that's just to put him in proper darkness. He gets a bit spooked out when I come into the room and he's tucked in and you can see the light coming through the towel when I turn the light on to check on anything. So once he's in bed, I put the towel over the top, put him in darkness, hold the heat in, and yeah. And then I have to change the towels in this probably every 2 days. And that's how much he poops, that's how much mess he makes. And then there's a process, because obviously they're dirty poop towels, so you don't want to put them straight in the wash. So obviously I beat them outside, like I literally hit them with a stick and I shake them and scrape everything off, and then I put it in the washing machine. And then it's just vacuuming to stay on top, and that's new poo that I'll have to use cleaner on. So there's a lot of cleaning and stuff. I would not recommend raising them in the house. I just don't have options with anywhere to put them at the moment, because there's blackhead out there, and which now I'm on top of, but at the time, like it takes time to get out of the environment. I have a garage that would have been perfect, except it's not snake proof. And I have pens. Only recently I found that were snake proof, because the brooders we made, we're not handy people. We did terrible jobs making them, had lots of gaps the snake could get through. But they're not snake proof for long, because these can get pulled apart. And also then on top of it, there's a big gap in that garage. It's a cold garage, it's on cold cement, and this little one has trouble keeping its leg warm, the dislocated leg warm. And there's a lot of hand feeding as well. And I think I just want to stress how much time it takes to hand feed them. I probably spend an hour and a half split over the day just hand feeding them. And sometimes a lot more to get him into position to hand feed him. And I didn't want to have to go out to the garage multiple times a day, not be able to observe what they're doing, not see how this one's hopping. Because while they're in this office, I can get an idea if he's having a bad day or a good day with that leg, and I can accommodate him for that day. So I would not recommend them having in the house, but at the same time, if they're disabled, do whatever is going to work. This carpet needed replacing anyway. It was damaged before we moved in and bought the place, so all right, keep it here. Don't make as much mess, dear. But do whatever, you know, do whatever you feel is good for you, right? We all have our limits. Evidently, I let these guys just walk all over me. I do. Look at your face. All right, it's been a 25-minute video, so I think we should end it there. We should. I'm hoping it's been informative about how these guys are going, but also information for someone who is looking after disabled Peachicks and where I'm at the moment and what I'm doing. The main question someone will ask is why you're not using vitamin water. That was the last thing I was supposed to bring up. And that's just because these guys share water and I'd have to do different dosage rates for them. This one, Kalump knocks it over all the time. And this one's really bad at drinking. So I've just not found it to be really effective to dose them with it in the water. I could probably top it up a little bit, but I'd be worrying about overdosing this one as they continue topping up every time he knocks it over, and then finding the right window where I've got it in the water for this one to drink it. Because they obviously do like to share. So once I've got this one drinking, this one goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" and comes over as well. But having them together in the same room has been great. I think Wabi really kind of started trying to get across the cage more and working out how to hop more once he saw Sabi doing stuff. And now they've got a size difference. Wabi likes to kind of treat Sabi like a parent and like jams under him for warmth. And out of the two, the most adventurous eater actually is Wabi. So Sabi has been trying mealworms and broadening his palate, which he's a bit nervous doing with a crooked beak, but Wabi's got a great beak. So the two of them have really kind of helped each other out. All right, so I'm supposed to end this video, and I'm going to end this video. Did you want to say goodbye? Did you want to say goodbye and end the video for me? Did you? Oh, yeah. You want to say hi to the camera? Yeah, you love attacking it. Well, this is not going to be riveting to end the video on, you know. Does pull weird faces as he cleans his feathers. Actually, maybe this could be helpful. Nope, you're not going to help. You can see the shafts underneath. And what he's doing is he's cleaning off, there's some excess, that white shaft, he's cleaning off the excess at the ends, now that the feathers are kind of coming through. That's part of the regular grooming. So you'll get like little bits of this all over everywhere. A little version of dandruff, I guess. And that's good to see. That's good to see him preening and taking that white off. It means their feathers are growing healthily. All right, so time to say bye. Buddy. Bye. Okay. Okay. You willing to borrow? Okay. All right. Let me just... All right, I'll get the blanket and put it over your head. It won't make good footage. I can't fit the phone and my hand in at the same time. But someone wants to burrow and have a nap. All right. You'll talk to him later? Okay. See you.